Hello, ladies, and welcome to the Menopause Made Easy podcast with Tanya. And this is information I wish I had known in my late 30s and early 40s as we venture into the journey of perimenopause, which is that time while we still may or may not have a period. Um, sorry, if you've had a hysterectomy, you may not have you won't have a period, but you also may have fluctuations in your period, or your period may be pretty normal. So you think that there's nothing the matter with you, not that there is anything the matter with you, but you're going through a hormonal change. So I just wanted to pop in here today and really talk about the signs and symptoms of perimenopause, menopause transition, and just to allow yourself to be like, okay, I'm not crazy. I'm definitely not crazy. These are real, and we're going to chat about them. So, as we've mentioned many times on this episode, we have estrogen receptors on every cell of our body, and we have trillions of cells in our body. We are just made up of cells, right? And this means when the estrogen, as we go through this perimenopausal phase, starts to decrease, there are many symptoms that occur. And like always, there are women who will be roughly, they say 20% of women will be on like, wow, like severe symptoms. 20% of women will be like nothing. They just breeze through it. And then you have your 60% that's in and about the middle. And so many times we're just focusing on hot flashes or flushes, night sweats. And there's really a lot of other symptoms that I think it's really worthwhile to just sit back and reflect upon if you're currently going through this transition. So a lot of these symptoms can last for many years, sometimes even decades. So even after menopause is that anniversary date of, that 1 year without a period. And, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at this, if you've had a hysterectomy, you haven't have a period in many years. So some of you are like, am I in menopause? Am I not in menopause? And then for those of you who, like myself, had a regular period and then it stopped, and then you go 12 months, you kind of have a better idea. That's why I think it's really important to track. So, some of these symptoms can last, like I said, some years or many, or even decades. And they can be minor symptoms, such as just a few hot flushes, or it can be very severe. And it also, unfortunately, and this is what's really, more important for me, is that this loss of estrogen really can have an increased risk of disease such as heart attack, heart disease, osteoporosis, immune system, mental decline. So we are all going through this. So I think it's really important to understand some of these symptoms, signs and symptoms, but also really understanding, which I've done in many episodes, the role of estrogen in our body and how, as men and women, we're pretty equal in regards to the health status of our body. And as soon as women start to lose estrogen, our health actually decreases, they're saying about 30%. So this is why I think it's really important to get ahead of the gang and really start to focus on your lifestyle habits, which I started to change in my 30s. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes it's, I feel like a teenager and there's a lot of resistance and I'm poopy pants about it. But I also know that, if you do it slowly and lean into it and have compassion and curiosity for yourself, you will be much better prepared than waiting and basically being faced with, some major decisions. All right. So if you're experiencing any of these symptoms, just jot them down, do a little report card on yourself. And this list is not exhaustive, but it really shines a light on some common symptoms that occur during perimenopause and menopause. I'm going to have a sip of my beautiful mushroom tea. And we will begin. And, before I say that, I heard this saying and I love it. Self-care is healthcare. And I've said this many times, but you are the CEO of your health, and you really need to take some time. I know that can be challenging, but reflect, slow down. I've really been focusing on slowing down these last couple of years. And I feel myself having some, ooh, oh my gosh, there's a lot of stuff going on where I am definitely transitioning into another phase. Like I can feel that. I can definitely feel that. So we can talk more about that later. But let's talk about some physical symptoms that you may have experienced, and now you can put a meaning behind it or something to be aware of. So physical symptoms are heart palpitations, which I definitely had. Just recently, I went on a cruise, which was fabulous. I did the transatlantic crossing. So I'm taping this in November. You're going to hear this episode in February. But we went with some friends and did the transatlantic crossing, and it was fabulous. And I had had these heart palpitations before. And but what I really noticed now, which I think again, awareness is so powerful, is that there are some nights I chose to drink. And I have noticed this as now not a once in a while, but every time I tend to drink more than I probably should, I get severe like heart palpitations to the point where I'm like, oh shit, like I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack. It's been quite scary actually. And I want to tell you something that's just cuckoo bananas, but I can remember this one night on the cruise, and it happened actually a time in August was really bad when I had been drinking, where in the middle of the night my heart just started to pound, and I was like, I'm gonna die. Like it was so loud, so intense. And then I drink again. I'm like, Tanya, you're crazy. Like, what are you doing? And so, I can remember going through this. Sorry, I will get onto the symptom list. I'm just going on a little bit of a tangent here. But I can remember when I was, unwinding my emotional eating, and I would notice some signs and symptoms, and I would be like, oh, it can't be related to eating 20 cookies. The night sweats, the heart palpitations, the itchy ears, itchy elbows, my mood tanking in the toilet, being bitchy. Anyway, I didn't connect the dots for so long just because denial and lots of other things I've talked about. So when these heart palpitations happening, I'm like, oh, that's crazy. And then I was like, oh my gosh, when I drink at night, my heart is pounding. And so now there's a correlation. So that's what I was getting at. Like now, more times than not, if I choose to drink, I have the night sweats, the heart palpitations, and to the point now where these heart palpitations are like worrisome for me because I'm like, holy smokes. Now, I have had some heart palpitations just throughout the day. Nothing's really been going on. So I definitely have this symptom, but now I've been going back and forth. And I think this term is called cognitive dissonance, where I'm like, oh my gosh, do I stop drinking forever? Do I who am I without drinking? Not that I'm a big drinker, but I'm going through this process right now. So some of you may be able to identify with this. And anyway, so I definitely have a correlation now that when I drink, I get these heart palpitations, and they're bad enough that I'm like, why would I ever drink? Honestly, like you're a fool. So I haven't drank since I got off that cruise. It's almost been 3 weeks, which feels like 6 months, but anyway. Okay, so another physical symptom is difficulty in sleeping. I'm, really trying to pull back and remember in my 30s and 40s, if I had trouble sleeping, I would say on the whole, I don't, but there's definitely, some waves of sleepless nights. But I listen to a lot of women who just don't sleep. They can't sleep. They're waking up at 3, can't get back to sleep. And I will say that it is definitely an area that needs attention. And so maybe I have just put a lot of attention into this area of noticing, like, I don't nighttime snack anymore at all. And that definitely did impact my sleep. I was wired but tired, so I've worked on my stress. I am working on my light habits right now, which I'll share in another episode, but we've been diving deep into that in my midlife reboot. I've definitely been working on, caffeine, which is really not a huge problem, but for some of you, like, don't drink any caffeine after 12. So again, just really noticing my sleep environment, my sleep patterns. So, but this is one you could definitely be having. And because have a loss in progesterone, which is your calming hormone, that can also have an impact in sleeping. So feeling tired or lacking energy, definitely I have felt this. And I'm still feeling this on and off right now. And I really don't like this one, where I feel like I'm dragging myself through mud. Like that's what I feel like. That's the best example I can give. And I'm a very high energy person, but I'm noticing like I'm turning more inward right now. Definitely needing to comfort and nurture myself more. Feeling dizzy or faint could be another one. And I have low blood pressure, so sometimes I feel dizzy. I think this has been something my whole life. So again, are these signs and symptoms that you've had, for a long time, or are you just starting to notice them? Headaches, definitely had menopausal headaches, like doozies across my forehead, in my temples, very sensitive to light and sound, days. And I'm not a person that takes Tylenol or aspirin, or I'm like lavender, peppermint. I block, I roll, I hydrate, and I just live with it. But let me tell you, it was excruciatingly painful. And sometimes I did have to give in to having an aspirin or two, or Tylenol. I don't even know what they are. My husband just gives them to me. Um, Tinnitus. Carolyn's been on my Menopause Made Easy, and she has that ringing in her ears, which is again very common. Not common, but it can be a symptom during that. So just notice, I've talked to a lot of women that do have that tinnitus, the ringing in the ears. The dry mouth and eyes could be a sign or symptom. Sore gums, muscle and joint pain, that's huge. I hear so many women, my knees ache, my hips ache, and we're just losing that elasticity in our joints and muscles. So really important again to make sure we are moving, we are keeping mobile. All of our joints have synovial fluid, and it's like a car. If you leave a car sitting in your driveway for a year and you try and do it, it's going to clunk, clunk, clunk. We've got to be moving our bodies, and not just in the same repetitive patterns every day. And this is something we really work on in my Vibrant Living Academy. It's different movement. It's just doing this, like, different things, which we do all the time. Like we did our release your ribs class. We do hands and feet, mobile classes, Pilates, yoga, rolling, weights, different, like, just try not to get into the same routine, because you're really creating an environment in your body that is not beneficial. So it is so important to move at this time of your life. Breathing difficulties you could experience, needing to go to the loo more often, to the bathroom, having leaks of urine, which, just lately I've had like little bubbles. This may be personal, but you know what? Maybe you're having the same thing and you go, oh, I'm not alone, but I'll have like a little bubble and I'll just like pee my pants. I'm like, what the what? What the what? Anyway, that's always fun. Vaginal dryness and soreness because your estrogen is decreasing. So some of you may look into vaginal estrogen creams. You might have thrush and cystitis episodes. Not really sure what that is. You could look that up. Dry or itchy skin. Again, this is like the lack of estrogen in your body. thinning hair, which a lot of people talk about. I love putting rosemary essential oils from Living Libations through my hair. I have a whole gorgeous hair blog, which I will attach to this episode, which has really helped me because I have to tell you that my hair is fantastic. So just tooting my own horn here. So those are some of the physical symptoms that you may feel, and some weight gain, hot flashes, night sweats. Again, your hormones are shifting, and so you may experience some belly fat gains. But again, really looking at your lifestyle to see what habits are helping or hindering you. So then we have some psychological changes, which, I'm in this one right now, this low mood. Oh my God, I went and gave my husband a hug today. I'm like, I just need to be held. And I did a great episode on oxytocin, because that is your feel-good hormone. It doesn't last very long and it's definitely decreasing. So you want to hug your dogs, your pets, you want to hug your husband, you want to hug yourself, really have a sip of tea, but really notice this low mood. I wouldn't say I'm bipolar, but I definitely have some ups and downs, and I see how that affects my work life, my day-to-day activities. And I'm just monitoring myself and really just allowing myself to, be aware of anything that's triggering me. Is it the same week every month? How's it aligning with the moon? What glimpses can I get into this low mood? Anxiety, definitely had anxiety, overwhelm when I was, going through this transition. I don't know if I like the word anxiety anymore. But anyway, that can be another episode. I have a great, if I could find it. Oh my gosh, this thing on anxiety, it's fabulous. Anyway, feeling tense or nervous, that sense of overwhelm, because our progesterone is decreasing. So we tend to not be able to deal with things coming at us the way we once were. Memory problems, attacks of panic, anxiety, difficulty concentrating, loss of interest in most things. And I would say I highlighted that one because I'm feeling that. I'm feeling blah. I'm feeling very blah right now. It's an effort to record this podcast. Like, it's an effort to do, some things during my day right now. Like, it's a struggle. It's real. Again, it goes up and down, but I am definitely, and I was talking to a girlfriend of mine and she's like in this stuck. We're in our mid-50s and I'm not saying this is everybody, but definitely I'm feeling blah, loss of interest. But I'm aware of that. I'm aware, and I'm sure, just like everything in life, this too shall pass. Feeling unhappy or depressed. Yeah, I highlighted this one too. Definitely, again, that whole blah feeling. Why get out of bed? Why do anything? Why bother? So, unfortunately, this statistic is not a very great one, but women age 45 to 55, highest level of suicide, and also breaking off from marriages and stuff like that. So these hormones are powerful things, ladies. Crying spells, oh yeah, sure. Boo-hoo, the tears start flowing. Why? When honestly, if I look around, I live in, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for my life. I mean, the gratitude I have for my dogs, for healthy kids, for my husband, for where I live, for my freedoms, for having a car, for being able to, like, just everything. I live in absolute abundance and awe and vibrancy. So it's just crazy how I can feel low energy and crying spells. But I just think that really shows you the power of these hormones and how they can just really affect us. Irritability and mood swings. Yep, highlighted those. But I will absolutely tell you that for me personally, the irritability and the mood swings, now that my menopausal plate for food is balanced, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, so much better. My irritability is so down, like almost nothing compared to what it used to be. And my mood swings the same. Like low mood to me is different than mood swings, the high to the low. Um, but the swinging for me is much less drastic. Loss of confidence. I actually just sent an email off to somebody today and said I'm feeling a loss of confidence in myself. Um, so that's just crazy. And reduce self-esteem. Yeah, I'll put my hand up there. Why do I matter? Like, what's going on? So, not to be a Debbie Downer, but I think being honest, and if any of you are feeling this, to know that you're not alone. Like, you're not alone. Brain fog. I think I definitely felt more brain fog at one point. I don't know if I do now. I'm not really sure. So maybe, maybe that's some fog right there. Loss of interest in sex and level of arousal. That is highlighted. Look at that big yellow highlight because I went through this list and highlighted where what symptoms I was feeling or still am feeling. Yeah, my husband and I had a little chat, and I was just like, "Hey, honey, I love you, but I don't know. I just not feeling it right now." So anyway, and then there's like the vasomotor, which is just basically heat regulation in your body, and that is hot flashes, sweating at night. I did not really have a lot of hot flashes. I had a few, and they're real. They're like, wow, like your temperature skyrockets. But the sweating at night, oh my gosh, decades of sweating at night. I can remember when I was pregnant, and I would wake up like I had just gotten out of the shower, like soaking wet. But I will tell you, I absolutely, again, this correlation and awareness when I drink or eat too much sugar, and if I eat too much sugar and drink, the night sweats, the heart palpitations, there's no great sleep. So I, as an adult, the CEO of my own health, um, you know, I am absolutely 100 aware of, like percent aware that when I drink or eat too much sugar, those things happen. Now, you know what's crazy is that there are states where I can actually decide, nope, I'm not going to drink because I want to sleep. And then some days I just forget. I'm like, and I wake up in the morning after a horrible sleep and the night sweats. I'm like, what happened? Did somebody hijack me and take control over my thoughts and my behaviors? Like, why did I do that again? So I must tell you that I definitely do things less often, but I'm not 100% nice to my body. And as I'm getting older, it's really telling me, like, Tanya, you got to smarten up. You can't do this kind of caca to your body. And so that's, those are choices we have to make. But I have to laugh sometimes because I was just again on this cruise. And I did it like I was away for 2 weeks, and I did it probably 4 to 5 of like the nights being away. And I was like, oh my gosh, didn't you learn anything from the first, second, and third time? Like, what are you doing to yourself? But I was hijacked and I got caught up in the moment, and my little child self came out to play, and I lost all ability from my prefrontal cortex, my thinking brain, which I've done episodes on, and I don't know. I got swept up in the moment. So, changing can be challenging, but I think it's an awareness of really being honest with yourself, having a look at these symptoms, noticing which ones you currently have, and again, noticing, is there a correlation? When I do X, does this sign and symptom show up? And that takes some detective work. And we did an episode with Dr. Kat and really did a symptom diary, which can be very helpful. So I hope that has helped you with just some of the signs and symptoms that you may be feeling right now. And again, I think the biggest one for me, why I've made certain decisions with my lifestyle, is that estrogen is so protective. And we really need to make sure that we are eating hormone balancing foods, which I talk a lot about in my midlife reboot program, so that we can really avoid having weak bones, osteoporosis, osteopenia, cardiac disease, immune system, not working as best it can, our heart, which I did a great interview with Michelle Rothenstein or Roth, somebody or other. Sorry that I'm not saying that correctly, but we did an amazing episode on heart health. She was absolutely fabulous to talk to. And so the symptoms that they suck, and they're real, and they need to be addressed with lifestyle habits. And also, do you want to talk to your doctor, health practitioner, functional medicine person about hormones? And for me, I've made many decisions based on future avoidance, is that the word I could use, of these more substantial issues such as cardiac, bone, muscle, brain, immune system. So anyway, I'll leave you with that. And lovely ladies, if you would please share this episode with a lovely woman in your life so that together we don't suffer. We have more awareness around the signs and symptoms as we move through this period in our life. And then when we know that we're not just being a whiny woman, but these are real, we can go and get the help necessary. And I am here for you in my beautiful midlife reboot program. I tell you, it has just been, the women in the program just love it. We meet every week on Zoom. We get to chat. I always have golden nuggets to share. We're very actionable with what we do in a very fun way, moving in your own time, but you have the accountability, the motivation, and the knowledge and empowerment to really take a hold of your future. And your health is everything. It's everything. It's everything. So I'm just here to hopefully inspire you. And if you would like me in the journey with you, to help you get healthier, happier, and move through these beautiful years in these menopausal times. All right, lovely ladies, please rate, subscribe, share my podcast. And I thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.